guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have The City of Dusk by Tara Sims. Now, I can't remember where I got this book from. I think it might be from Unplugged, I'm not quite sure. So yeah, I was actually quite looking forward to this book because I was quite interested in it. Just the way it was, it's a darkness, basically darkness falls, God rises. So I'm like, I do want to read some more things and more of darkness, bit of gods in it and everything. So this came to the mind, and it was one of the things I was kind of looking forward to reading this year as well. Oh, and many other books. So we do have a signed signature. I think it was Unplugged. We do have a lovely author letter. That's very sweet. Before we get into the little tabbies and more about the book, let's read the synopsis. So what really got to me as well was this part. For every realm there is a god. For every god there is a hair. For every hair there is a price. So basically the four realms, life, death, light and darkness, all converge in the City of Dusk. But the gods have withdrawn their favour from once thriving and vibrant metropolis. And without it, all the realms are dying. I wanted to stand by and watch the destruction. The four heirs come to divine power. Angelica, an elementalist with her eyes, are set on the throne. Risha, a necromancer fighting to keep the peace. Nikolais, a soldier who struggles to see the light. And Taysa, a shadow-rolling rogue with a reckless heart, will become reluctant allies in the quest to save their city. But the rebellion will cost them dearly. So this is actually book one out of the trilogy of the... I can't remember what the series is called again. It's at the back of the book. Anyway, so like I said, book one out of the trilogy. So as I was reading the book, I was confused somewhat because this is like my kind of thing. It's my first time reading something roughly like this, like darkness vibes with gods and everything, and I was like, okay, we're going to go first. So as you can see, it is a chunker of a book. Okay, it's a chunker. It's chunky. And I was going back and forth a lot of things, but we'll get to more of that. We do love a lovely good map in a book, because then you can always prefer it going back and forth to it, and it is so nice. Then I turn to the next page, we have a more of the Nexus, and then turn to the next page, we have the four levels of House of the Nexus. So it tells us the Madova, Sir, I hope I said the name, Last Rider and the Vakara. So it tells us everything about more about these. Verna, you have Shade, sorry not Shade, Nyx, Foes, and Delta, Daya. But I was like, oh, interesting how these come in. So I don't know, I put these in because, you know, I really like something that I like to read, or like, oh, you know what, I want to explain that more in my book, my review. So this, on page 81, the very last line really got me, was the god has refused to speak to him so far, but one way or another, he would make sure he was heard. So I was like, oh, okay, so how is he going to make this? Read the book if you want to know. Basically. And then we have a voice telling one of the gods basically to do something. This is an ancient and terrible magic, birthed with the creation of the universe, the lining of the realms, the beginning of everything. It is used to represent harmony, stability, and now it's broken, causing all the realms to wither. A pause, long and ringing, but not for long. I was like, ooh, hello. That sounds interesting. And it's a penny. When you get paperback and the book doesn't want to go down. So this is supposed to be a dark fantasy book. Like I said earlier, don't really read much dark fantasy books, but I am trying to get into them. So it does have a lot of dark elements in it. There is some constant like grim features that you hear left and right, but to be honest, it's not that bad. But it's a good fantasy with a cracking assemblance cast and a wonderful world. I love it. So I love the main characters, where the magic are believable, from necromancy to wooden shadows to wings of light. Sim had created a unique magic system that's easy to follow and understand. In the history of the different religions, the feuding of the noble families is well built as well, and I love that. So the range of like sexuality, races, and religions in this world is no stereotypes or token inclusions. But this is a very refreshing feature for a fantasy world to have, and it focuses on deep emotional issues such as grief and careful unconsidered ways. So just to let you know on that one. Although there was many things I do enjoyed about this book, I did struggle in some places. It was fantastic, but the slow and steady pace of the rest of the novel made me like think, okay, these few chapters are going slow. Like the chapters, they're very long, like to get to the next chapter, and I'm like, oh my god, when is this chapter going to end? Because normally for me, I normally try and read a chapter a day, or if not two. But it depends on how long the chapters are. I also think this, well, I expect of a book for being billed as a adult dark epic fantasy. This has all the ingredients to make it, but it made me feel like I was reading a very long young adult novel. I took it a while to get into the swing of it. I definitely did. It took me maybe a little bit longer days to read it because I put it down for a bit because I was like, I don't know if I want to read it, but I did and got through it. I do not mean this as a huge like bad thing, but I have read novels kind of like not for me. I've heard things about the book and everything from Bent, and it's like a new struggle for the new adult book, but all that is confined. So overall, reading this book is a good read. It appeals to the fantasies who prefers a less grim world, and while still being a dark novel, it does involve with violence, sex, swearing, political intrigue, characters with some more sorry, these traits are just not as quite as explicit or harsh as a grim dark reader, but should be able to be expressing it. The cliffhanger of the City of the Stars has kept me interested and I'm invested enough in the characters. This would be the next conflict of the Dark Gods when it comes out. That's the one. So I was quite intrigued by it. If I go to the back, so okay. The story continues. So the second book is going to be the Midnight Kingdom Book to the Dark God series. I was like, ooh, interesting. Turn to the next page. Sorry, hang on, not that one. I saw this. If you enjoyed The City of Dusk, look out for The Mask of Mirrors, book 1 of the Rook and Rose trilogy by M.A. Carrick. So looking at it, I was like, okay, so what's this about? And it says, this is your past and the good and the ill of it, and which is neither. So for, I can't say that name, is a liar and a thief and a pattern reader and a daughter of no clan. Raised in the slum of Serene, she fled that world to save her sister. And the little chapter I got a glimpse of, I was like, dang, these two kids basically just slammed this person on the floor, like almost pretty much to the point killing her. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to have a little look at about that, but that is interesting. I am looking forward to the second book. Obviously, I will have to get the series in paperback because this is a paperback. So I'm kind of getting the feeling, understand where people go, that you want to have the same series to the whole rest of it. So like I have my Jenna Showed Waters book, I have to wait until the second book comes out in paperback, but I can't because I have it in paperback and I'm going to buy something in hardback, which is fine. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.